Welcome back to Velvet, where we go deeper than motivation. We decode the secret thinking patterns of the ultra-rich. Today, we are entering a psychological truth that shapes the global wealth structure, a truth most universities won't teach, and most people never notice. The difference between the rich and everyone else isn't money. It's mathematics versus emotion. The 1% treat financial decisions like formulas, like engineering problems, like repeatable systems. The 99% treat them like emotional reactions. This script will take you into the silent world of the billionaire mindset. A world where fear doesn't control decisions, where confidence doesn't come from luck, where money is not a feeling, it's a model. By the end, you'll understand why most people stay stuck financially, how the 1% make decisions that compound for decades, how the average person unknowingly sabotages themselves, and the exact mental tools you can use to flip your thinking into the top 1%. Let's go deep. Part of the emotional architecture of the 99%. Most people believe money problems start with low income, but the truth? Most money problems start with emotions. It's not a lack of money. It's the presence of fear, insecurity, impulse, panic, and short-term thinking. Let's break down the emotional patterns that control the 99%. 1. Fear-based decision-making. Most people operate in survival mode, not because their life is in danger, but because their brain thinks it is. They fear losing money, taking risks, being judged, failing publicly, looking stupid, trying something new. This fear becomes a cage. And here's the hidden truth. Fear reduces intelligence. When fear takes over, people stop thinking logically. They start thinking defensively. That's why poor people say, I don't want to lose $200. What if I fail? I need to feel safe. But this safety costs them opportunities that could change their life. The wealthy feel fear too, but they don't let it decide for them. 2. Emotional spending. Most money problems don't come from bills. They come from emotional spending, stress spending, status spending, comfort spending, boredom spending, I deserve it spending, social pressure spending. People don't buy things. People buy feelings. A car is rarely bought for transportation. It's bought for belonging, pride, or validation. Clothes aren't bought to stay warm. They're bought to feel confident. And the worst part, these feelings fade quickly, but the financial damage does not. 3. Short-term mentality. The 99% want fast gratification, fast success, fast comfort, fast status. They hate waiting. They hate slow results. They hate long-term strategies, which is ironic, because all wealth is built on long-term systems. Short-term thinking destroys investments, opportunities, business ideas, learning habits, career growth. If the result isn't instant, people quit. The wealthy don't quit, they compound. 4. Social comparison and ego decisions. People copy what others do instead of thinking financially. They choose phones because others have them, clothes because others wear them, vacations because others post them, careers because others expect them, cars because others admire them. And the saddest part, people spend money to impress people they don't even like. Meanwhile, the rich use money to build freedom, not image. 5. Emotional avoidance. Most people avoid money topics because they feel shame. They don't like seeing their real expenses, their real debt, their real income, their real mistakes, their lack of savings. So they avoid it, and the problem grows like an untreated disease. Avoiding numbers is emotional. Facing numbers is mathematical. The 1% face the numbers even when they don't like them, because data is the only path to control. Part 2. The 1% and their mathematical thinking. Now, enter the other world. The world where decisions are not made through fear or impulse, but through formulas, probabilities, and systems. The top 1% aren't emotionless. They are trained. They've learned to separate feelings from decisions, rely on numbers over impulses, calculate outcomes instead of guessing, think in probabilities, not perfection, choose long-term reward over short-term pleasure. Their mindset is built on equations. 1. Billionaires reduce life to models. Every decision they make fits into a model. Cost versus reward, risk versus probability, time versus return, effort versus scalability, taxes versus structure, debt versus leverage, growth versus preservation. They don't say, "I feel scared to invest." They say, "The risk is 7%, the projected return is 22%, and the downside is capped." Fear doesn't stand a chance. 2. Data, not drama. The wealthy track every expense, every revenue stream, every asset, every liability, every opportunity, every tax impact, because you cannot control what you don't measure. The 99% measure nothing. The 1% measure everything. 3. The power of expected value. Here is the most powerful equation the middle class never uses. Expected value EV, probability of win-reward, probability of loss cost. This is how billionaires make decisions. Most opportunities in life have positive expected value. Starting a business, learning a high-income skill, investing early, building an audience, taking smart risks, acquiring assets. But fear blinds people from seeing it. The rich calculate, the poor hesitate. 4. Long-term compounding mindset. The wealthy think in decades. They ask, what will this become in 15 years? How will this compound? What will this skill do for my entire career? How does this investment pay me over time? This creates massive leverage. The average person asks, what do I get today? What do I gain this week? How fast can I see results? This destroys leverage. The 1% win because they allow time to work for them. The 99% lose because they fight time instead of using it. 5. Logical risk management. The wealthy do not avoid risk. They manage it. They diversify. They hedge. They insure. They structure. They calculate. They test. They measure. Emotion says, what if I lose? The wealthy say, how can I reduce the downside and maximize the upside? This difference changes everything. Part 3. Real-world examples. How thinking creates outcomes. Let's put two fictional people side by side. Alex 99 and Lucas 1. Same income, different mindset. Example 1. Investing. Alex, I don't trust the stock market. What if it crashes? Lucas, historically markets grow over time. Even with dips, compounding wins. Alex invests nothing. Lucas invests $200 a month. 10 years later, Alex equals $0. Lucas equals thousands. Mindset created the wealth gap, not income. Example 2. Starting a business. Alex, what if I fail? Lucas, if I fail, I learn. If I succeed, I scale. Alex stays safe. Lucas becomes valuable. Example 3. Buying a car. Alex, I want this car. It makes me look successful. Lucas, this depreciates. Can this money buy an asset first? Alex buys liability. Lucas buys cash flow. Example 4. Spending free time. Alex, let me relax. I worked today. Lucas, 2 hours of learning today equals higher income forever. Alex is entertained. Lucas is transformed. Example 5. Handling emotions. Alex feels fear and listens to it. Lucas feels fear and calculates around it. Alex reacts. Lucas designs. Part 4. The equation mindset of the ultra-rich. Here is the formula that billionaires live by. The one the average person never learns. Data plus probability plus time horizon emotion equals wealth decision. Let's break it down. 1. Data. What are the actual numbers? How much do you earn? How much do you keep? How much is wasted? What gives ROI? What is the true cost? Without data, people make emotional decisions. With data, people make financial ones. 2. Probability. Nothing is guaranteed, but everything has a probability. The rich don't need certainty. They need high probability. This is why they take calculated risks. Not because they're fearless, but because they understand odds. 3. Time horizon. This is the cheat code. The rich stretch time. The poor compress it. Example, investing $500 today might feel small, but over 10 to 15 years, it becomes powerful, and over 20 to 30 years, it becomes life-changing. Time multiplies good decisions and exposes bad ones. 4. Removing emotion. This doesn't mean becoming cold. It means refusing to let temporary feelings dictate permanent consequences. Emotion is the enemy of wealth. Calculation is the creator of wealth. Part V. How you can think like the 1% practical steps. Here is the transformation blueprint. To shift from emotional thinking to equation thinking. Step 1. Write down decisions instead of reacting. Before making a choice, write: what is the upside? What is the downside? What is the probability of each? What is the opportunity cost? How does this compound over 5 to 10 years? This alone will elevate you above 95% of people. Step 2. Delay emotional decisions. If a decision feels urgent, your emotion is manipulating you. Wait 24 hours. Time kills impulsiveness. Step 3. Track every dollar. Even the rich track their money, because control requires clarity. Tracking equals power. Guessing equals failure. Step 4. Think in expected value, not certainty. Nothing needs to be perfect. It just needs a higher EV. Example: starting a small online business might have 40% chance of success, 60% chance of failure, but the reward of success is huge, and the cost of failure is small. EV is positive, so the rich pursue it. Step 5. Embrace long-term thinking. Ask: what happens in 10 years? How does this compound? Does this build freedom or comfort? Long-term thinking is the richest mindset on earth. Step 6. Build systems, not motivation. Motivation fades. Systems compound. The wealthy automate. Saving, investing, income streams, tax strategies, learning routines, productivity. Because automation removes emotional interference. Step 7. Rewire emotional triggers. Every time you feel fear, calculate; excitement, pause; pressure, analyze; disappointment, adjust; temptation, evaluate; doubt, collect data. Use emotions as signals, not commands. Part V. The final truth. The wealth gap is not only about income, education, privilege, luck, background. Those matter, but this matters more. The wealthy think differently. The wealthy calculate decisions the average person avoids. The wealthy use time as leverage, not as a deadline. Money is not just a tool, it's the result of thinking styles. If you change the way you think, you change the way money behaves in your life. If this deep dive changed your mindset, make sure to subscribe to Velvet. Your support helps us bring more high-level financial psychology, wealth-building strategies, and elite mindset breakdowns. Stay disciplined, stay strategic, and stay ahead. More powerful episodes are coming.